do we have that we want to see and work on? Preferably something super gi heavy, because screw you guys who choke gi. But really, questions we got on anything we've been running into, anything we want to see, problem solve, anything like that. What do we got?
Sweeps, but I'm trying to think from just like a specific one, because I know I'm just having a lot of trouble with sweeps. Like I feel like I'll get attention for it, but either my hips are in the wrong spot or I'm not extending or something.
We're going from guard, half guard,
Guard or half guard.
Okay. We'll go over one of my favorite sweeps, especially from full guard here. It's just that simple scissor sweep. And everyone's just like, oh man, that's a really simple sweep. Why do you use it? Well, because it's simple. And sometimes in jiu-jitsu, that can be the best option you have, just to keep things just kind of super simple. So when I'm here, if I'm in the gi, I'm going to grab that kind of the shoulder blade grip here, where I'm just on the calf of this collarbone here. Right here, solid grip. I'm going to grab wrist here, right? Same side of whichever, I'm going cross collar, same side wrist. Now, I'm generally going to hit it not from like a full closed guard. I'm going to hit it from closer to an open guard here. Because I'm going to go to open guard, both feet on the hips from this position. Now, one of the big mistakes I see people make is they'll stay flat when they go to this open guard, or even in full guard. I try not to be completely flat on my back. I try to be at least on the one hip, and I'm going to cheat towards the side I want to sweep. When I'm here, I'm pulling my hands in while keeping the distance with my feet. It's a push-pull. A lot of people are just kind of lazily sitting here. That's why you get countered while you're going to, because you're kind of being lazy here. I'm keeping him off balance. If I wanted to do something right now, how hard would it be? Not a lot available for him to do. So once I'm here, I'm going to start the motion by going kick and then sweeping my bottom leg. The reason I go kick and then leg is because a lot of people try to time this sweep to jump it. So like if I'm here on this other side, and I open to this side here, I get this same grip. Clay's good at jiu-jitsu, right? He recognizes that this scissor sweep is available. So when I start to go here, a lot of guys will start to jump it and hit that quick kind of jump over and force you into like a butterfly guard type situation. So when I'm here, I like to kick over and then scoop that leg. It allows for a little bit better traction and a little bit more off balance for that sweeping leg that comes through. So when I'm here, boom, I get to that collarbone grip, right? Get to that open guard, and I'm using that push and pull to keep him off balance here. Not just letting him rest here, I'm keeping him off balance. The other thing a lot of people miss on this sweep is this leg hits the mat first. Down, and then my heel and knee are doing that scooping. A lot of people just try to scoop with like their foot. Like they're trying to scoop with just here. I'm trying to reach with that so that my knee, the pit of my knee does the whole thing. That allows me to hit that scissor sweep. So we're here. Boom, I set my grips, get to where I want to be, right? Using this off balance now. I kick, sweep, over. Once I'm here, I'm still just coming up. I'm going to hold these grips until I get to mount, basically, because I'm going to try to get to this kind of side mount here to where I can attack. Because the benefit for me is we have options. Chokes, the obvious arm bar that's here. But it opens up to that option bar if you hit. Questions on the scissor sweep? It's one of those things that's simple but not easy. This is one of those sweeps that if you hit it right, very hard to stop. But if you hit it wrong, very easy to stop. So questions here?
It's a good way, especially for people that are heavier than you, to kind of get them off balance.
It's in your feet. If I'm here, and Clay's not bigger than me by any stretch. I am pounds of sexy right now. And Clay is not that much, right? But if I'm here and I don't off balance Clay, as big as I fucking am right now, doesn't matter. But when I'm here, I'm pushing and pulling. My hands are active here, and I'm pushing him back with my feet. If he starts sliding too far back, I can pull him back in with my feet. But I'm keeping him off balance here. So with my feet. That's why I go to that open guard position, is to keep him off balance. Because at that point I can use my feet. Even if I hit this from the full guard, when I'm here, my knees are doing a lot of the work. So you can't let people just... How many of you have gotten into a position where people let you sit comfortably and it went poorly for them, right? If you let me sit comfortably on my back here, I will fuck you up at some point. I will find something to ruin your day. But if Clay's moving and doing, putting grips and moving around and trying to cut angles, my life gets a lot harder. Same thing works for me. If I get here and I just let Clay rest here, life's good, right? He can start doing stuff. Not a lot of good stuff's happening for me. But if I'm here, Clay goes to start moving, I can start off balancing and hit that sweep a lot easier if I can get that push-pull, managing that distance. That distance management with your feet is one of the biggest skills that will translate almost regardless of position. Because I can say that from open guard, but 50-50 for all you dirty leg lockers that I've somehow created. Guess how you maintain distance in a leg lock? It's in your legs. It's here. It's in this leg, extending to create distance, recoiling to pull him in. It's here. Distance management is one of the biggest keys of jiu-jitsu. If you can't manage the distance, you're going to get yourself in problems. Whether it's 50-50 or full guard, half guard, I'm here. Boom. It's all in that distance management of not just my top leg pushing in and out. I will scoop with that bottom leg. Keep him off balance. Excellent butterfly guard. The biggest portion of the guard is this distance, is managing this distance. So being able to maintain and manage distance with your feet, with your hands is natural. We all grew up at some point and had to push something away from us, right? And you naturally do that with your hands. The more naturally you can do that with your feet, the better off your jiu-jitsu life becomes. Make sense? Other questions on that? I know that was a long-winded answer.
What are you grabbing in a nogi?
Nogi, wrist and head. Same concept. I'm here. I'm not as worried about the head grip. This is not going to be as integral here. Most of the time you're playing slap face while you're doing this. So they're going to be hiding their head. But when I'm here, still pushing, pulling, here. Just is a little less effective on the head side grip.
When you're kicking that leg up, is it mostly shin or is it mostly knee?
I'm hitting shin into armpit.
Okay.
So when I'm here, mid shin should hit about mid armpit.
Okay.
Pop. So as you MMA guys, actually, it's not an effective strike, but you can hit that. That's the type of, I'm kicking it. I'm not kicking him over. I'm kicking him this way. Because what I want him to do, I don't want him to fall over there. I want him to fall right about here in an ideal world. So when I'm here and I scoop and kick, I'm putting him right there. One of the big mistakes a lot of people make is when they go for the sweep, they sweep him about to where my foot is. Where I want to sweep him to where my hand is. So when I'm here and I scoop, I'm pulling, I'm bringing him over here to my side. Or what a lot of people end up trying to do is they go here. And you sweep them almost away from you. And that's why you end up not good things happening, people grabbing your feet, things of that nature. Make sense? Other questions? Okay. 1, 2, 3. A really wide statement. Go ahead and narrow that down for me.
Cross scholarship.
From?
Yeah, no, it's like a clock. Twice a year ago with it because I'm not used to it.
So, guard or male? You're gonna be your two most. But
Now, I'm usually okay for the hard now.
so Clay's here. I've sucked at jiu-jitsu and someone's gotten out something, right? Nothing good has ever happened when you've been out, right? So Clay then reaches in, grabs one of my collars. The first and the smart-ass answer of how not to get collar choked is protect your fucking collars once they get to here. Because realize, no one's ever grabbed a collar like this and like, you know what, I'm not going to at least apply pressure to his throat. No one's just grabbed this and be like, you know, let's keep a really loose elbow here, just relax here. No, they at least applied this pressure, right? So the smart-ass answer is the second this grip is set, this hand should be in the home alone defense. Like, that's going to be step one. But let's assume Clay's slick and gets here, right? Now, as he goes to chomp this down, right, his goal is to pull this across here, squeeze his wrists, and go across, right? Couple ways I'm gonna show you defense versus escapes. Think about this from two different sides. Defense is when you can choke me, but you don't get to finish, right? I can settle in here, you don't finish this. It's gonna suck still, but like I burn your grips, burn your hands, I don't care. Escapes is I don't like what's happening and we have to go somewhere, somehow, right? So when I'm here and Clay starts to set his grips, the first defensive thing I'm going to do is get whatever hand is on the opposite side that he's grabbed, I'm going to get my hand in that forearm here. Because as he goes to grip across here, this hand is going to be in the way of allowing him to pull that elbow thrust. So when he's here and he just tries to squeeze and choke here, all I'm going to have to be able to do is block this wrist a little bit. Now, most guys are savvy enough to start grabbing that elbow and really start to get this here. So my next thing is going to be to weave my hands and grab the backside of this elbow as well. Here. That's going to give me the defensive measure I need. I like the little elbow grip here. Simple but effective. And I like having just kind of the wrist grip here. Or if I can reach his hand, I will start I will start grabbing for it. Most of the time it's behind your neck to where there's not a good grip point. So I'm just grabbing kind of this forearm to keep it away from me. Because now if Clay really starts to squeeze and apply pressure here, this arm's pulling across, this arm's pushing across. It's a 2-on-1. He has a leverage advantage, but unless you're fighting the Hulk, you should be at least able to buy yourself time, right? So that's going to be defensive option number one. So turn it here. So on here, Clay goes to grip in. This hand comes into like the cross home alone grip. This hand comes to this back elbow grip here. We're just blocking and keeping him away from it, right? Option two is going to be if the underside hand goes first. So most people, if they're not slick, are going to grip top hand first, slip this hand under, right? Some people are a little bit sneakier and will start slipping this hand in and then come slam over and choke here. Yeah, that's exactly how I do it. And they'll either go to the actual grip there, or some guys will just go to like the shoulder cap grip and do it that way. Those guys are a little bit trickier. So when I'm here, if I notice that this grip is in deeper than I appreciate, that underside grip, same thing, I'm still going to grab that elbow and start pulling it across my chest line with both hands as much as possible. The real thesis of this is 2-on-1, isolate a hand and get it off your throat. Still may suck, don't get me wrong, but it's going to suck less and you may not have to do it. So he's here, he starts gripping there, I get here. Even if he comes over the top and tries to start hitting this choke, yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable. He's probably going to get the top side of it in. But I'm comfortable enough here to then work through and either let him burn out the grips or work the next step, which is going to be to escape. Now, the escape is the same. It just depends on which hand you've trapped. So if you've trapped the top side hand with that first escape here, all we're going to do, step over the foot, bridge, roll towards that side. Because that Oompa escape is still going to be effective even if you're being choked. You can isolate a hand, trap a leg, and roll. Still effective. So we're here. He gets that top side grip. I recognize it. I start to defend and isolate this arm. Here. Both hands are here. Stepping over. Bridge. And when I bridge, I'm bridging to his neck and shoulder this way to take him over to where that arm should plant. Now, once you get here, collapse both hands together. Pull your hands into his chest, pull your head to the sky. At that point, you should be able to break their grips and get through. Now, same thing works. If you're trapping the underside hand, all you have to do is roll towards the underside. So if I'm here, Clay's choking, I start to defend myself this way. All we're gonna do, step over, bridge, roll to the side, come here, posture up, get rid of those grips. So the hand defense is if you're comfortable there and feel like, hey, if I get this choke off of me, I can escape mount in a different way that I like better. This escape is more effective if you're like, hey, I just don't like being choked and I want to end this as soon as possible. 2-on-1, bridge and roll to that side. Questions on that? Anyone need to see it again? One more time. Work here. He starts to choke me. I don't appreciate any of that. I isolate 2-on-1. I'm here. I'm then going to start tucking my chin, bringing my shoulders up, all the standard choke defense things you should be doing. For those of you who don't realize this, you slow your breathing, your shoulders come up, your chin comes down. If you're like, man, why can't I hit Dustin and head and arm triangle? This is why I'm very good at this. Like, this really sucks. I can't do it. Don't worry. A 220-pound black belt couldn't either. So
I told DP that story last week.
So I'm here, post the foot in, bridge up, and roll. Questions?
So you're just rolling towards whichever arm.
Arm you've trapped. Because here's the thing. Think about it from just a practical side. If I'm here with play, I trap the underside hand, right? He goes to choke me. All these things start happening. If I'm here and I go to bridge and roll this way, I've taken his post away. How many of you guys have moved a refrigerator? Right? You put it up on the one wheel, turn it, rotate, turn, right? Same thing's working here. I've taken away the post and I can rotate better. That's why you're able to move all that weight and move it there. Hashtag science. Fulcrums and pivot points and things like that, right? Questions on this?
Last time I was at Fisher's, there was some guy who was attempting no-gi versions of this choke.
If you no-gi cross collar choke someone, fuck you. I'm just in the very simplest
I
form.
just wondering, like, how is not practical at all, I'm assuming, right? He was doing that in, like, baseball bat chokes.
So,
No-gi.
if you can no-gi choke someone like that, you're sandbagging.
You're what?
Sandbagging. You're rolling with guys. It's like when I pick on you guys and I start doing ridiculous moves for fun. Like if you could do that in if that happens to you in a competition, he was sandbagging. Like very rarely have I seen someone go no-gi baseball bat choke and it be effective.
It didn't work. I was like, is this a thing?
It's a thing. I'm gonna do that one. Some people attempt it, but it falls in that like, you know how I try to teach 70-30, you know, should work most of the time, but you're gonna get countered some of the time. It's the inverse of that. It's 30-70. Like it shouldn't work, but every once in a while you'll pull a rabbit out of the hat where someone's tired and they quit. You just happen to give them an exit. It's more of that than it is a, hey, this is a high level of attack. You should try that all the time. The only time I'm going to be hitting like a no-gi cross collar is like from mount to set up my arm. It's not like a, if I'm here with play.
Just to piss him off.
Yeah, I'm choking, I'm adding pressure. I'm not actually attacking. So like if I'm here, so like if I'm here and I just go like cross collar here, I'm doing it so the clay has to move to bring me this. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm trying to choke him. Like I am applying this choking pressure, bring his hands up, force him to defend that, to then attack something else. It has nothing to do with the fact I'm trying to choke him. This is, and hey, you have to worry about the fact that you can't breathe right now, sir. You have to worry about, okay, thank you. I will absolutely take your arm for that. You know, that type of stuff. It's the, you know, same as like the shut up choke where I cup your mouth. I'm not actually trying to choke you with that. I'm trying to get you to freak out and move so that I can do other unfavorable things. Does that make sense? Alright, drill this out. 1, 2, 3.
Trying this thing works sometimes, and sometimes I end up on my back. But when you have an arm bar and it's not working, switching to the other arm. Details on doing that.
I knew this day would come. So last week we worked on breaking that grip, right? Like, you know, obviously we have some of the more simple options of kicking through. We worked pulling up, escaping this than that slip choke I was just refreshing on with cat. Now, switching sides is an intricate motion. Can be done, but you got to be smooth. So I'm going to explain this in multiple steps, but realize most of this happens at the same time. So I'm here. First thing you do is cross your feet. Pull your feet to you, and you grab this elbow. Now, I at that point will escape my hands. Some people go this side, I go this side. I'm going to set my leg off, and I'm going to make a hat. As we're here, I switch hands, post. Up, round, through. You're in the armbar. Bad things are happening. I can't finish. Oh no. What is life? I cannot finish. I pull. Leg hat. Here. Post. Step up or round. Your knee should be capping the shoulder. Your foot should be at about the head. Grip in. He grabs his hands. And you do this to nauseam. You pull in. Post. Leg hat. Set yourself around. Windshield wiper. Over. You're like, man, how many times have you done this drill? Couldn't tell you. Because we used to do it for 3-minute increments both hands. Pull. You're pulling hands and feet. Here. I want that arm to extend.
And you always use your inside arm.
Inside hand. Because what I'll do is I'll set it up here. Because Clay's here, we're defending, right? I will defend, pull, pull. Here. Most of the time, guys are going to move their hand here because if Clay left his hand there, I'm just going to wrist lock the shit out. Then I go to the leg hat. The reason you do the leg hat is so that he can't jump over your leg while you're doing this. So I'm actually putting this on like a hat. Here, I post, come around, and I use as low as physically possible. Your butt should scoot across his chest. Here. This leg, windshield wiper out and around. Here. Finish the armbar. But Clay doesn't suck, so he defends the armbar once you get to the other side. Here. Pull. Pull. And leg tap. Up. Around. Finish. Questions? And that's how you should drill this. 3 each side, then switch.
They try to sit up in you as you're moving. Do you have a triangle there?
Yes.
What did he have? What did you have?
There's a triangle if they sit up in the middle of this. There's a variety of options actually once you get to this position. Because once I get to here and I get to this leg hat position, here, and I'm in this middle, if this elbow falls out, yes. But actually the more violent option, if you're an asshole, is you don't transition fully. You pull both elbows to yourself. You grab your foot and then you smack him across the throat with it. You go, hey, here you go. And you go plot it from here. Finish. So I would more do that than I would triangle from here. I'm not going to fully transition. But if I transition to here and I start losing the arms, I would mount. Just reset that. It'll be alright.
So then do you push down on the foot?
Yeah. Go, plata. Here, shin through throat. Now, a couple ways you finish. Some people will wrap and grab their foot. I'm an asshole and I'm not going to do this gently, so I'm going to very, very politely curl their neck into my shin bone as I put all my weight into it. So without Clay, because I like Clay most days, we get some more zone dumps together. So when I'm here, my weight's over this hip for the most part. This hip and this hip. When I'm finishing this, I'm grabbing his head, and all my weight is about right here on my shin. I'm putting it through his Adam's apple. Or them's Adam's apple, whatever. Yeah, Zimzer, whatever it is. But all the weight then transfers to your shin, or you can transition far side. Other questions on this? We'll walk through it again. Questions on the technique. Do you need Scissor? Mr. Scissor? You're wearing the right color. Otherwise, if I grab somebody in a white gi, it's just a mish of white gi. This way. So I'm here, Mr. Sears grabs his arms, right? Nothing good happening here. I can't, let's say I've tried all the other finish options that we've worked in past. I pull. It's a 2-on-1. Post hand in the mat, leg hat position. Literally, it should feel like he's wearing a hat. Like, that sounds dumb, but this is what the position's called. Post this foot in, nice transition around. This knee should cup the back of this tricep. This foot comes over, finish the arm. Back in the arm bar. I don't like what's happening. I pull everything in. I'm here. My hand posts. My leg hat. Transition through. Finish the arm bar. Questions on that?
Which one of those steps so when I mess this up, I end up on my back and they stack.
You,
Right. So
when you
is that-
swivel, you stand up. Because I can tell you exactly what happens. Because here's probably the transition you see, right? You get to here, right? Everything goes great, right until about here, right?
Yep.
Because then what happens is you do this, and they don't suck, so they sit up just that little bit. And you end up in a half-assed arm bar on this side. So when I transition side to side here, my weight doesn't leave him. My weight comes off, you start to sit up. My weight's dragging across his chest. Stays on him so that way he can't sit. Make sense? Alright, fill her out. 1, 2, 3.